Hey everyone, welcome to another Chess Patzers Unites presentation. Today we're looking at the British Knockout Championship, which is a pretty exciting championship running alongside the London Chess Classic. Today I'm joined by International Master Adam Hunt, who's just sitting on my, from your point of view, it's my right, but your left. Adam, do you want to say hi?
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I hope you're well too. Thanks for doing this last second. That's pretty awesome of you. So today we're going to go through particularly the Ginger GM's game, but today it's a bit of a controversy on who's playing the Ginger GM, and that's Adam's sister. So Adam, who are you cheering for today?
Good question. I think I'm going to have to stick my... Simon is a very good friend of mine, first and foremost. One of my best friends in the chess world. Love him to bits. But I think I'm going to have to go with family here.
I think that's totally fair. You know, personally, I obviously want Simon to win. That's pretty much the reason why I wanted to do the commentary. But I just want a good game. And I know Harriet plays some really interesting chess. So this should be a good battle between the two of them. I'm not sure about this, but I think that Ginger GM actually has played Harriet a few times. I think he's got a winning record. Do you know anything about that? Or have I just pulled that out of thin air?
You have, I think, just pulled that out of thin air.
Damn it.
I think, actually, Harriet is one of the players who Simon has one of the worst records against.
Brilliant.
Yeah, which makes it even more interesting. The reason I say that is because we had a blitz game on his stream a while ago, and he made note of the fact he had a terrible record against both me and Harriet.
I know he doesn't have a particularly good record against you. I've seen some nice games by you against him.
Most of them have been quite lucky, but yeah.
You make your own luck in chess, they say. So yeah, just quickly on the tournament itself, as I was mentioning just before we went live. There's been a little bit about controversy about the selection process. I think the 4 top English players, I think that was easy enough, you know, go by rating. And then there was a couple of qualifying places, which I think again is fair, because you're giving everyone a chance to qualify. And that's Simon Williams and Matt Turner who managed to qualify in that one. And then there was the 2 best women players, again, absolutely fine. And then I think it's just the last 2. I think they're. I'm guessing they're the up and coming IMs. Is that what the idea is? Do you think?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm wondering, but I'm not entirely sure about whether or not there's even GM norm possibility in this tournament. I'm guessing there probably isn't, but I'm not 100% sure. So it's possible they invited them for that reason. I know that a few of the more experienced grandmasters were disappointed not to play. I saw Keith Arkle was disappointed not to be invited because he'd been very active. He's been very active and has had some good results recently.
Played well. Yeah.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of other people in that boat. Nick Pertwood springs to mind. Yep. Mark Hebden, you know, Danny Cormani, people like this who would probably, you know, are higher rated than the 2 IMs and probably also Harriet and Ivanka, who would feel that they would be quite kind of in with a good chance of being invited, because I think the prize money is really good for this tournament.
Yeah, it is. I think 1,500 just for getting there, which is, you know, that's decent for chess, for English chess anyway. Yeah,
it's really good. But you can sort of understand, as you say, probably the invitation of the two ladies.
Yeah.
That's I think really good to see. It's really good to see Harriet playing again. She hasn't played for an awfully long time.
She's been the highest rated for quite some time, but not on the actual active list.
No. She's taken time out of chess to have two children who are now getting a little bit older. So she feels she's able to play a little bit more, which is great to see. You know, maybe if she has a good result here, that might inspire her to play a little bit more as well. And I think in an ideal world, I know that Ivanka has always been quite keen on having Harriet rejoin the women's Olympiad team
That makes it a lot stronger. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, takes a lot. Would take a lot of pressure off Ivanka and boost the team a lot. So that would be something I would love to see.
All right. Well, like I said, it's a yearly tournament, so perhaps they'll work out the wrangles for the next time. But I guess we should actually probably start looking at the game. I mean, I started this a bit later just so they'd play some moves, because otherwise we'd be stuck on move 3 and in like, oh, what's happening, or I don't really know, got nothing to talk about. So let's dive in, release with the Ginger GM versus your sister straight away.
Sure. Look, you're already on over 20 viewers as well.
I mean, that's amazing. I was going for the high teens, so 20's good. I'm guessing people aren't really covering this, and that's why we got them. But hopefully they'll stay as long as possible, and they'll learn something, because I always learn when you join my stream. So
I've got to go and have my hair cut at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
so
that's all right.
Maybe back in the afternoon for the second game.
Yeah, that's cool. And I'll just carry on. And if you're back, that's great. And if not, well, we'll thank you for your time. So let's hope that something exciting happens that we can talk about before your hair needs cutting. Let me get to the board. Bear with. I'm on a different screen. All right, here we go. Right. So Simon with the white pieces, and shockingly started with D4. So that is his main weapon nowadays, it seems. So nothing too unusual there. So knight F6 from Harriet, knight F3. So our first sort of odd move. Is this some sort of English defence? Is that what B6 is?
Well, Harriet is a Nimzo Indian player, and that's C4 and knight C3. So she will play 2E6.
Okay.
Against C4, and then she's also a Queen's Indian player. So if White then plays 3 knight F3, she will play B6. So I'm guessing that Harriet is kind of very much expecting something along these lines, and it will probably transpose into a Queen's Indian, I would guess, unless. And I guess it's probably designed because she knows Simon also plays the London system, so it might be that B6 is maybe a slightly surprising way of playing against that. I don't really know. I'm not an expert on the fee and chess over the Queen's Bishop.
No, well, I guess we will be by the end of this stream, madam.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Simon hasn't recently been playing the London system, so it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with. Oh, Charlie Chesscat's in the chat. Hi, Charlie. How you doing?
Hello, Charlie.
I'm always amazed by his typing skills. Those paws, they're very, very delicate, shall we say. So he plays C4. So okay, so you may be right. Maybe going straight into a Queen's Indian. Yeah, E6. Okay, so he's trying to fianchetto his bishop too. Is this main line?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Right, we'll skip on a little bit. Okay, so yeah, so these are the kind of moves where I always get a tiny bit confused. What's bishop A6 all about then? I mean, okay, she's attacking the C pawn, but what's the real reason behind it? Is it literally just to try and gain a move for White to defend it?
Yeah, I think, as I say, I'm not a massive expert, but I think the idea is that basically most of the moves which defend the pawn are sort of moves that that White doesn't want to necessarily play. For example, something like Queen to C2, then makes D5 a harder move to play for White, which is often an idea. So sometimes, if let's say Queen C2, the bishop will quite often go back to B7, maybe even here, just to
say that you've misplaced the queen.
Seems really weird, but I think that's an idea. I think another idea is to play pawn to C6, pawn to D5, and get some sort of pressure on the pawn like that. But
with the bishop still on A6.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I like the idea. I get it. Yeah, trying to deflect a piece to make White's plan not so straightforward. Obviously, he wants to charge through the middle of D5 and start, catching the king in the center, etc. So it makes sense to try and get White to not waste time, but I think he actually did play Queen C2.
He did play Queen C2, right? Yeah. I'm wondering about B3 as well, and why it's well designed against that move. And I think another idea, if B3, for example, if we take Queen C2 off, I think an idea is to play b5.
Oh, really?
I
That
think
looks
so, yeah.
exciting.
It's a bit weird, I know, but basically it's to try and break up this pawn on c4, and then the square d5 comes under black's control.
Yeah, it makes sense. All right, okay, cool. Well, he didn't go with that plan, but that's obviously another way of doing it. I guess the plus side to white is he's got an option to put his dark square bishop on b2 and have a decent dark square bishop at some point.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so he played queen c2, and Harriet played bishop b4 check, so I'm guessing now he's got a couple of options again. He's not going to block with his queen, so knight... Oh, actually, he's got 3 options here, hasn't he? So the knight could go to c3, d2, or bishop d2.
Well, he can't go knight c3 because he loses c-pawn.
Oh, yeah, good point. Yeah, that interferes with the defence, yeah. Thanks for that. That's why I've got you around, Adam, to point out my terrible moves. So, yeah. So he doesn't want to drop the c-pawn. So it's knight d2 or bishop d2.
Yeah, I would think knight d2 would be the move.
Okay, well, we'll skip past this a tiny bit. I guess if the knight's pinned, at some point black's maybe looking at dropping a knight into e4. Is that a plan at some point? Move the bishop back to b7 and get the knight into e4?
The problem with doing that is that white's quite quick to castle and unpin himself. So
All right,
bishop g2 and castles is going to be just a little bit annoying for Harriet, because then she's going to eventually have to make a decision about whether or not she wants to give up the bishop for a knight on d2 when a3 is played, or whether she wants to retreat it again
to e7. Okay, yeah, I've seen this in like Grandmaster games, and I always get a bit... They all seem to be coming forward to then go backwards again, but I guess it's just teasing moves just to try and make white a little bit uncomfortable, not straightforward, just gang through the middle.
Yeah, one guy who's really good at doing this sort of thing is Mickey Adams. He's constantly surprising me with the way he makes all these forwards and backwards manoeuvres. We'll probably see that later in the tournament.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think the winner of this game, funny enough, is going to get Mickey Adams.
Yeah.
So that's a lovely prize, isn't it?
It's a lovely prize. I think you also double your money if you win this game.
Yeah. I think it's nearly double. I think it's 1,500 for this one and 2,500 for the next. Then it goes up to 5,000 and then 10,000. I think. So.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
okay, let's see what happens.
Yeah, sorry. Let's move on a bit. So you block with a bishop. So I'm guessing black will take to not lose a tempi.
Or queen e7.
Or queen e7. Yeah. And nope, she went back to e7 with the bishop. So there we go. That's that. She obviously, or the opening for the black is to make sure the knight doesn't get to d2 or something. Because I always think in these kind of weird positions that you might end up getting... Again, I keep trying to drop my c-pawn, but maybe your bishop's not so bad on c3?
Yeah. But yeah, how are you going to get it there? You're going to have to play b3 anyway.
It is awkward, yeah, fair enough. So at some point we're going to have to defend that c-pawn. So I wonder what Simon will come up with. I'm guessing he'll just develop here. No? Okay, thanks Simon. Thanks for that in my face. He went straight e4.
Okay.
He's a crazy man. He's like, what's development when I can chuck my pawns up the board?
Yeah, so he wants to play e5 if he gets a chance.
Quick e5 in, yeah. And that'll, because the... Oh. I'm there. I don't think she's going to take that pawn. That doesn't seem right. There must be like a chess 24 pre-move thing. Yeah, so if he gets e5 in straight away, yeah, that knight on f6 is going to be a little bit embarrassed, right? Not very many good squares.
Yes.
So what's she going to play to stop e5? She can make a... Can she play d5 here? Is it too early? I'll put it on the board. Why not? Let's make this a little bit easier. So d5 gives a square for the knight, basically. That's what I'm trying to do. Trying to give d7, so if e5, then the knight can come back to d7.
Yeah, looks like a very reasonable move. The only drawback is that bishop on a6 will get a little bit loose if the c-pawn captures.
Yeah,
but then
it's defended by the knight at the moment.
Yeah, but then you're also having to think about a check on a4.
Ah, oh yeah, yep. The old double attack. Yeah.
So what? I'm guessing white would take with the c-pawn. And Harriet would take on f1. She'd have to.
Oh, interesting. That's like a Benko idea. Yeah, the king's not that bad on f1. Funny enough, you can actually
Yeah,
fianchetto itself.
exactly. Yeah, king takes and then pawn takes pawn. How would that be? Probably be okay for black, I would have thought.
Well, let's see what she comes up with. It seems reasonable to play d5. Are there any other moves that stick out here for you?
I would consider going back with my bishop to b7 because that would pin the pawn.
Oh yeah, because obviously if I'll just put that on the board, why not? If you then throw your pawn forward, going ha ha ha, I've got e5, then of course black whips off the knight on f3 and laughs in your face. And I'm sure plenty of people lose to that in blitz. It always happens. Obvious moves.
Well, hang on, there's something quite.
Oh.
Yeah, this is good for black.
Yeah.
I was wondering about here in this position going knight to c3. That would be natural because the bishop's dropped away.
Knight c3, yeah. Because now the c pawn. Well, the c pawn was defended. Oh yeah, because you do want to fianchetto the light square bishop. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean this looks like a nice position for white. No, lots of space.
Well, I was just wondering if Harriet can take on e4 anyway with her knight.
Oh wow, we've got some sneaky tactics coming in, guys. Yep. And then I guess knight takes.
And then f5.
And then f5. Ah, taking advantage of the knight on f3 not being defended. And then knight would have to go forward into g5, but then the knight's pinned against the rook. Oh, very nice. Yeah, I like that. Off the swaps. Yeah, that's not bad, is it?
It's still a bit unclear because white could play something like d5, blocking the bishop's diagonal, or bishop.
Have to move the knight first, right? And then
no, you don't have to. You can play d5 here.
Can actually play d5 straight away.
Yeah, why not?
Are we not?
Well, but now if you go there and I go h6,
why can't we take the knight, Adam? Sorry.
You can, and then I'll take it back, and we'll have equal material.
Oh, of course, to sack the knight in the first place. Sorry, that's the Patzer brain just kicking in there. I forgot that to actually sack the knight on e4 in the first place.
Yeah. So
yeah, of course,
actually, that might be quite good for white still. That one.
Okay, cool. Well, I can break the tension and say this didn't happen.
No.
So instead, hang on. Harriet played d5.
Oh, she did, okay.
Yeah, so she's taking a stake in the centre and, as I say, giving a square for the knight to come back to on d7 if e5 is played. Maybe white be slightly overextended then. Maybe there could be some counterplay of f6 or something like that. So let's see how Simon responded to that. And you were suggesting he'll probably take c, I think. C takes d.
And that's what I thought, maybe, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, that's what happened. So it gives Harriet the option to take on f1 or...
She has to, actually.
Is it forced because of the check, yeah?
Yeah.
So guys, there's always this queen a4 check coming into the position, which double attacks a6. So she almost definitely will take on f1. Yep, she swapped it off straight away, so Simon will retake, no doubt. Yep. And then we have to deal with that d5 pawn. So is she going to... I'm guessing she'll take it, right?
Oh, I almost saw something very clever.
Tell us your thoughts.
I wondered in the previous position, before king takes f1.
Yeah.
You always can look for kind of intermediate moves, and they're easy to miss. I wondered if white could throw in queen a4 check.
Yeah, I'll put it on.
But it's actually ridiculous. But I wondered about queen a4 check, and the idea of if a piece went to d7, she could then take on e6, which wins a pawn. He could take on e6 because then the piece on d7 is attacked. But annoyingly, black can just play b5.
Oh right, yeah, because the bishop defends the pawn in the square.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that I would miss actually, because there's these little quiet moves where you get a bit carried away with your grandeur, and then find out that there's a simple move that just ruins everything.
Yeah,
it happens to me more often than not. That's why I stay low rated, Adam. For one brilliancy, I have 10 collapses. So king takes. Okay, you took back. She took back with the pawn. So I'm guessing the options are taking the pawn again or playing e5, and I'm guessing e5 because you want to take the space here. I guess you don't want to just give yourself an isolated d pawn for no reason, right?
I completely agree. I think he will definitely go e5.
Okay. Yep, he did. And now the question is, will she go back to D7 or B8 or sorry G8, or will she come forward to G4? I guess there's no square on G4, so there's
no. She'll go into E4.
Oh, and of course, an E4. Sorry, yeah, of course. That's probably the most likely, actually, isn't it? That's a nice place if you can stay there.
It's a nice place if you can stay there. She's going to have to consider whether or not she's going to be able to get to stay there, or she's going to get trapped. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I mean, is there an F3 push at some point? Maybe she's always going to have the option, isn't she, of swapping off the knight when it gets to C3? Is that something that you think will happen? Because she'll have to play it there now, otherwise she can't play it at all, right? After knight C3.
Yeah, I would play knight E4, and then Simon will probably move his bishop.
So let's see what happens. Yep, she goes forward. That's what we want. We don't want any caginess. Probably against Simon and his style, you probably don't really want to go on a defensive because he loves them sort of, cramped positions for his opponent so he can chuck all his pawns up the board. So this is a good idea of Harriet just to go forward, and as long as you say, as you said, it doesn't lose tactically, it's all good, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, so like you say, again, sorry, I'm going to repeat myself a few times when I'm trying to think of what I'm going to say. That bishop on D2, he's going to save it, you think? Or will he just get on with it?
He's going to save it. I'm sure he's going to save it, yeah.
Is this like a long-term asset in the ending? Does he need his dark square bishop?
I think he'd like it, but I think as much as anything else, I don't think he necessarily wants to swap off this knight on E4. He's going to maybe have visions of trapping it with, I don't know, knight E1 and pawn F3 and pawn H4, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But just, I think bishop E3 is really logical. It supports the pawn on D4.
Yeah, there's going to be a C5 break at some point as well, isn't there?
The C5 is almost certainly going to happen by Harriet. Yeah, I would think so.
So
maybe after castling first, and then maybe a knight on D7.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. That C5 push is actually going to be quite hard for Simon to stop. So bishop E3 at least puts something against C5.
Something behind it. It doesn't stop it. I mean, she could play it straight away.
Oh, he's not gone for it. He's actually saying, "Oh well, never mind." It's gone straight knight C3. He doesn't care about his dark square bishop. Well, she's got an option, I guess, now. I mean, like you were just saying, if that knight is something that might get trapped at some point, and she's got an option of which one to take.
Yeah, she will definitely take one of them now, I would think, because otherwise she's going to lose a pawn.
Yeah, because it's double attack on E4. Hey, Bertrand in the chat. Hey, guys in the chat. Sorry, I haven't really been paying attention to the chat. Thanks for everybody for joining us. I've got Adam for at least another hour, so we're going to take as much as we can from him, information-wise. And those who are late joining, this is actually Adam's sister playing the Ginger GM. So he's not got torn loyalties. He's gone full sister, which is correct. You should always back your family. But I'm sure there's a few Ginger GM supporters in the chat. I've seen his face pop up a few times.
I think I've got some sort of feedback on my sound. I don't know if that is a problem or if it's okay.
No, it sounds good. I don't think there is. I always get strange little gremlins when it comes to sound. I mean, I'm not professional, but one day I'm going to get a green screen and everything. I think that's my Christmas present, funny enough, and hopefully we'll have a bit of a higher quality stream at some point. But no, everything seems to be okay this end.
Okay, cool.
If anyone in the chat is got a big problem with it, let us know, and I'll see if I can tweak something. But it should be good. So you think that Harriet's going to take a piece here? To not
Harriet will take a piece, and I think I would take the bishop.
Yeah.
I think probably Harriet's not too disappointed with the way this game has started. I would say I don't have massive worries here for her.
It's not that sharp, is it?
It's not that sharp, but I mean, obviously, it could turn that way. Simon's always going to be thinking about pushing his H pawn up the board.
Yeah, or Gary, one of the two.
Once that knight's gone and the king's on G2, that's very sensible, I think, actually.
Yeah.
And it's a question, I suppose, here of Harriet deciding how she's going to organise any sort of counterplay, because C5 is the move that looks like it's crying out to be played at some stage. But it's not actually all that easy to play it if she takes on D2, because after Queen D2, then the pawn on D5 will be hanging. So if, for example, knight takes bishop, queen takes, then how is she actually going to organise the move c5?
Yeah, I'm just putting it
It's
on the
not
board
that easy to do.
just that D pawn's a big liability. Is on pre there. Yep, that makes sense. I guess also she may want to swap off the dark square bishop to stop any bishop h6s coming at some point. It's a nice attacking motive that Simon likes a lot.
Yeah, I don't think she'd be all that scared about that.
That's something that us Patsers worry about, Adam. IMs just go, yeah, that's nothing.
So now I'm thinking about it. Let's have a think. If she takes on c3, which way is Simon going to take back, do you think?
So let's put that on the board.
Which way would you take back?
Right, first thoughts would be the queen. Mainly because I want to stay something on the c file, maybe bring my rook into c1.
Okay.
I don't like my bishop being a mutated giant pawn on c3.
Okay.
So I'd go queen probably.
Okay, and then I think Harriet probably would go c5.
Straight off c5, eh? So c5. Yeah, but I don't know. I kind of like this because at some point I'd swap. I mean, this is just Patser thinking, but I would probably swap the D pawn for the C pawn at some point, just because that diagonal looks quite nice. The dark square diagonal heading towards the king. I'm thinking.
Yeah, I wondered about it immediately. For example, so if you took on c5 and I played bc5, and then you played e6.
Oh, straight in, yeah, something like this, yeah. Where you just.
But I don't think it's queen. Good.
I've got bishop f6. Is there a check on f7? What's the defense for black?
I think she just castles.
Oh, just castles. Calm as you like. True. And then even if I take the f pawn, it gives you a half open f file in front of my king, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's going to be an attack for black rather than an attack for white.
Yeah. I agree. Okay, so let's see what she decided.
So I think now I'm thinking about it. I think she will take the knight. And I think Simon will probably take that with the bishop.
All right, let's have a look.
That's my guess.
Have a giant bishop monster pawn that I detest.
Yeah, let's have a mutated giant pawn.
Back one more move. And he went for... knight c3. Oh, no, sorry, we knew that. Sorry. No, he took the bishop. She took the bishop.
Ah, okay. After all that.
Yeah, well, okay. We've got to show the options. So that was quite a good little tangent. So I'm guessing taking back with a queen is going to be pretty obviously full. Well, it's not forced. It's just the knight on d2 doesn't look like it can go anywhere afterwards. So I'm guessing queen takes is natural.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yep, he did. So Harriet.
We'll castle, I would guess.
She played queen d7.
Queen d7, okay.
So she's looking at maybe coming into g4 potentially.
Or h3.
Or straight to h3 with check, yeah.
I would imagine king g2 or even h4 would be considered.
Yeah, h4, get on with his Harry attack. Maybe now down g5 for his knight at some point.
I would think.
He's gone king g2.
Yeah, okay. Makes sense.
It's a bit cagey by Simon, but I guess he knows what he's doing. He's obviously...
It's a very natural move. The rooks want to be connected. There's no weaknesses in the position now for white, really. So it's completely natural move.
So has white still got a slight edge because of the space advantage? Or is, and the fact that it's developed as well, funny enough, because there's still a knight on b8, isn't there?
So I would say yes, probably. There are a couple of factors here in white's favour. So it's difficult to play c5, and she's still got to develop her knight and castle. And by that time, at least one rook might appear on the c file.
Yep.
Possibly double even on the c file is an option. So I'm not quite sure how black is going to organise herself. I'm wondering if she might play knight c6 and then knight d8 and then knight e6. Manoeuvre that knight round to a square where it defends c7 and it helps to support c5.
I like that's kind of like a Magnus maneuver. He was doing that in the Shevnikov in a few of the games not the Shevnikov in the Bishop B5. What's it called? Is that
Rosalimo?
Rosalimo,
yeah.
He was doing some weird knight maneuvers where he ended up on E6 or a bishop on E6 with a knight on F8. So these kind of moves for beginner players. We're told don't put your pieces on back rank, but I guess if you've got time and there's nothing immediate coming to crush you, you can get away with moves such as knight D8. Or they should at least be entering your thinking.
When the knight is going round that route, Simon would definitely be thinking about playing F4 and F5 to try and kick it away.
Yeah.
But as soon as that happens, just to give maybe a sample line, let's say something like knight C6 here.
Yep.
And then rook C1, maybe.
Okay.
And knight D8.
Yep.
And say knight E1 to prepare F4.
Yep.
And then knight E6, let's say.
So the knight's got there.
Yeah.
And now F4.
And then knight E6.
Yep, and then F4.
F4. And then I think it would be wise of Harriet here to play something like F5.
F5. Ooh. Lash out.
Just to stop that idea. That would be I would think the typical way to negate the.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
But now, I'm not saying she has to do it now. In fact, she may have been better off castling before any of this happens, but because the E file will become open. But
yeah,
I don't think she's particularly bothered about that pawn going en passant because the bishop will take back.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking that'd be a monster bishop on F6, right? And
will exert pressure on D4. Having said that, then there will be a square on E5 which she could put her knight into. So he could put his knight into. Yeah. So this could happen, and then knight comes back to F3, for example.
Yes. This looks very logical. Yeah, nice little sideline. So is Black achieving enough?
That would be. I would guess definitely crossing her mind as to what to do. It'd be, I think, quite a good manoeuvre if Black has the time to get it in.
Yeah, because here the difference is, she's one move away from castling, and she's gonna have to deal with a knight, but she can always swap that knight off, I guess. I guess you have to work out whether you want to pass D pawn or E pawn or not. But yeah, I mean,
this position looks very nice for white, I would say.
Okay. So potentially not knight C6, but maybe. I mean, it's an idea, as you say. So after King G2, she went for knight C6. So yeah, you definitely you two are in tune. It's like you're related or something. And Simon did go with rook C1. Okay, so I wonder if she'll go with this knight D8 idea.
I suspect she might castle first.
She did. Safety first, and that, like you say, and if she does open up the E file, at least the king's not lined up for any trouble on with a rook to E1. So how would Simon continue the attack, or trying to put Black under some pressure here?
Well, I would start by definitely considering, even already as early as this idea of moving the knight and playing for F4 to gain space.
You like this? This is a good idea. No, I like it too. It's quite straightforward, isn't it? It's blunt, but some ideas are hard to battle, even if they are just straightforward. In fact, maybe because they are, because there's no finesses. It's like, well, F pawn's coming. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
How about? Can he play? I mean, it's a little bit against what you were just saying, the F4 plan. But can he play H4 and maybe get his knight into G5 at some point? Is this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, H4, I think, is a very, very sensible move, because even with the knight on G5, and let's say it was being attacked by a pawn on H6, I think Simon would definitely not be considering moving that knight, but kind of using it to open the H file against the king. How he can quite do that, though, is not completely clear to me. So, for example, if he played H4 and Harriet did go with this knight D8 move, then once she puts a knight on E6, she's going to be kind of covering that knight as well. So.
He could just keep chucking Harry up the board, though, couldn't he?
He could do, yeah. Could do, for sure.
Come on, Harry.
I think if he goes h5 now, she might well play. You see, the slight problem of this strategy of shoving the h pawn up the board and getting it up to h6 is that he doesn't have a dark square bishop.
Yeah, that's what we were saying earlier. When I was saying, oh, she might just swap it off just to negate
Yeah.
any h6 shenanigans.
So even if he gets the pawn to h6 and she has to play g6, it's not all that scary.
I wonder if he can go for 2 plans then. It's probably a bit ambitious, but knight g5 and then f4, f5. Oh, yeah, then again, f5 is not supported by anything either. The queen is defending that square, so yeah, I don't know. The knight is just sitting there. So you're saying after h6 he might not move it?
Yeah, but that's a big question, because I think she was genuinely threatening to take the knight. So even something like queen d3 probably doesn't work, because she will probably just take the knight and then play g6 and play it kind of cold like that, I would guess.
g6 here.
Well, take the knight and then go g6. Is that good?
I don't know. I mean, it's open H file is never too bad, is it? You can double up your rooks fairly easy here.
This is true, but you've got to watch out for bishop takes g5. You've got to watch out for just king g7 and rook h8. The queen comes to f5 quickly as well.
You've got to watch your d pawn if queen f5. I mean, there's stuff in the position.
Yeah, no, that's true. The d pawn is hanging. Okay, I don't think he's going to play it. I don't think he's going to do it.
Do you know what? I think, again, like we spoke about it very briefly about the money in this competition. You know, that's fairly decent money for these guys. So, a bit like the World Championship. You know, when Carlsen basically took the draw in a better position as black. He just didn't want to take the risk because he knew he was going to win in the rapids. So that will play on these guys' minds. You know, it's not a one-off game. They do have another game after this one.
Yeah.
So perhaps he won't do his usual chaoticness, but we'll see. Oh, no! Wow, I would never have guessed that move. He's gone straight knight d1.
Okay, the other knight.
So I'm guessing again, a bit like what you were saying though. It may be going to e3 to support f4, f5, and also I'm guessing he's uncovering the rook on c1 to maybe have a counter attack down the c file.
Yep. This all makes sense, and he's also, if he can get his knight to e3 and Harriet does put her knight on e6, then he's going to have a square on f5 for his knight as well, which is quite a good square.
If you ever get your knight here, guys, and it's not instantly shifted, it's actually probably worth an extra half point, maybe an extra point, because there's so many tactics on going to h6 with check and just sacking on g7, etc. So it's dreamland for an attacking player if you can just get it there for free.
So in this position, Simon immediately is threatening, I think, to go queen to the c file, which would win the c7 pawn.
Yes, he can get some good pressure down the c file. You're right. Yeah, that's actually quite hard to meet, isn't it? I mean,
well, she'll probably go knight d8, I would think.
Well, right now, yes. I mean, if she waits any longer, she'll be in trouble, right?
Looks like it. Yes.
And then again, queen, can it really take the c pawn? Because is there not rook c8 at some point? Because the rook on c1 won't be defended.
It won't be, but don't think you can organise it.
Is it too slow?
It's possible that there might be some way of doing it, but
that's again the kind of move I lose to, because I get all carried away with all wicked. I'm going to win a pawn, and then someone just plays something like rook c8, and I cry.
Yeah, but she'd have to move a queen first, wouldn't she?
Yes, because you just swap off queens otherwise. Okay, let's see what she comes up with. I think you're right. I think she's going to move the knight, and potentially she'll go for that e6 idea. So let's see what she comes up with. Yep, she's gone to d8. So for Simon to increase the pressure, he could play queen c2 here, attacking the pawn and defending f5, ready for the knight to get in there.
Yeah, he could do, and he could also just go knight e3 straight away.
Yeah.
I think one of the slight problems of playing queen to c2 now, let's say, would be, but black could probably then go c5.
Just straight c5. And then if he ignores it, goes knight e3 as planned.
Then probably knight e6, I would imagine.
So knight gets to where it wants to go. No swapsies. So the threat's real on d4 now.
Yeah, and then probably knight f5.
Yeah. I mean, what happened?
I mean, every time a pair of pieces comes off, this slight space advantage that white has becomes less and less important. So even if Harriet just played g6 now in this position, for example.
Yeah, I was wondering about g6 and whether to take the bishop or go knight h6.
You'd probably want to take the bishop, I would think.
Weaken the dark squares around the king.
Weaken the dark squares and get rid of the bishop. I think black's okay here.
Yeah, I mean, white still has to deal with the d pawn. That hasn't gone away anywhere, is it? And
just queen takes, and then maybe rook h d1 or something.
Yeah, and then.
But I don't think queen c2 will happen.
No, I was just me trying to gain time by attacking a pawn, but not really, I guess. Let's see what Simon comes up with. So instead of queen c2, or maybe queen c2, you know, I could get it right. Nope. Knight e3, as you said. Again, straight in for the well, two reasons here, I guess. He's going for f5 and tiny bit of pressure on the d pawn again, on the d5 pawn.
So I would think here she would probably, if she's comfortable with the idea of playing g6, then knight e6 still suggests itself as being a very sensible move.
So knight e6 or g6, you're thinking?
Well, probably knight e6.
Oh. Well, it was an idea from earlier.
It was an idea from earlier. What, she's gone f5, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that stops white's knight being put on f5.
Yep, that plan's gone. Downsides, I guess you've got to pass e pawn now for white.
Yes, but at the same time, if you've got a passed pawn like on e5 or d5, and there's a knight in front of it on e6, then the knight is perfectly placed, really.
It hasn't lost any of its power, has it? Like if it was a bishop, then the bishop would be a big pawn, but the
knight is the perfect blockader. And the point is that with the knight on e6, she can then start thinking about trying to organise this c5 pawn break. And I suppose she's also got the idea of playing f4 as well.
Yeah, why not? That upset Simon because one of his favourite attacks, f4 in your face, Freddie coming to get him. Yeah, I'm starting to like black actually. Funny enough, this is as a Dutch player, I enjoy having my pawn pushed all the way to f5. I gotta say, with the hopes of maybe.
There's one thing I'm a little bit concerned about is now queen c2, because it sort of semi-forks the pawns.
But the f pawn's been defended twice now already. No, is there another attacker coming?
Exactly. So, but I was just trying to just stop knight e6.
Ah, I see. Because the knight e6 now would block the queen's defense of f5.
It would do, yeah. But that's probably not a big deal. I guess c5 would still happen.
What now?
Instead of knight e6, the c5 probably would be played.
What's happening here?
Well, again, this f4 move, it keeps now appearing as an idea. Though that one is probably sacrificing the pawn on c7 is a bit too much.
How about just taking the c pawn here, Adam, and playing rook d1 or something like that? Something just to keep attacking d.
Yeah, I would think maybe just going rook d1 straight away.
Oh, instead.
Yeah.
With that threat, obviously, of when takes, you take on d5.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks all right, doesn't it? It's funny that d pawn's actually a liability after c5. That's a good motive to have in my mind. Thanks for that one.
I'm still worried about this f4 move, and
F4, let's put it on the board.
Yeah, let's see. f4, for example, here. I guess, is going to take it.
Yep, makes sense. Well, I guess he doesn't want to move his knight. That's the point, is it? Okay, so yeah, let's take it.
Rook takes, looks response. Or Or
Oh.
no. I wondered if she could play knight e6 and be clever and take it back with a knight.
And on f5?
Yeah, but that's the problem, I think.
Oh.
F5 is
Yeah,
a really good move.
Suddenly, it's table's turned.
Yes.
But in just rook takes probably okay, Adam. I don't, you've got pressure against f3 here.
Rook takes, and then the question is, after rook takes, whether or not black is just losing a pawn.
Well, let's take it.
D takes c5.
Yep. And what are we going to take back with?
Oh, are we going to take it back?
Yeah, can we play D? No, we can't play D4 because it's pinned, the pawn's pinned.
I wanted to take on... I kind of wanted to take on f3 and give a check with my queen on h3.
Hey, we can give away all the pieces we like, Adam. They're not ours. So is that king getting chased into the centre of the board is the question, right?
No, I think he's just getting chased back home.
Yeah, go back to e2, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably okay. But yeah,
no, it's not clear, because if that knight could land a jump to, let's say, f4, there was definitely still some danger in the position.
I mean, that's the fun of chess, isn't it? Those tempes, they do make a big difference. I've played plenty of games going, if only I had one more move. If only. Mr. Dodgy,
Let's go back. This is all hypothetical.
It's fancy. Mr. Dodgy's
We've had a very sensible suggestion in the chat as well, which is just to take on f6.
Let's go back. When? After f5?
Yeah.
So not queen c2, en passant.
Yeah.
Okay, and then naturally take back with the bishop.
Yep.
And what's White's follow-up here?
The suggestion was knight e5.
Okie dokie. That's a nice knight.
Very, very reasonable move.
Yeah, hard to deal with it, actually.
Well, she could take the knight and then play d4.
Ooh. Yeah, you know what? I just feel a bit uneasy with the king on g2. I don't know. Those are. Is there a light square check coming at some point? And especially with the rook controlling f3. Yeah,
this is still probably fine for White. Maybe he'd have to now think about playing f4.
Oh, it's pinned, isn't it, that pawn? Yeah, you see, that's just better players notice these things so much quicker than I do. So he obviously can't take the knight, guys, because queen takes queen. So it's the kind of thing I miss.
And you might get a kind of weird pawn, opposite pawn chain, because she might then play c5.
Oh wow, yeah, this game could get really hairy actually quite quickly. Where I was saying, maybe it doesn't look so sharp. We've only played a couple of normal looking moves and suddenly trouble for both sides.
Yeah, Black's actually threatening to win a piece now with queen to the diagonal with check.
Check, yeah, queen either queen c6 or queen b7, and then just take the knight. So the knight has to finally move away from its good square.
But it has a good square on c4.
I was going to say there's a d6 outpost, isn't there? But that can be covered by the black knight, no? With either.
Yeah. Maybe now, for example, a check along the diagonal, queen d5 or something, centralising the queen. The king's probably going to have to... You see, in this position, the king doesn't really want to, but it might have to go to the f file. Oh, no, it might have to go to the f file, which is not where it wants to be.
No, it wants to be nice and snug in the corner if it can get there. But yeah, those light squares look pretty good for the queen.
Yeah, this looks quite unpleasant.
Well, let's hope. Well, from my point of view, I hope Simon avoided this, and from your point of view, I hope he walked into it. So, let's see.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's go back.
Do we have any more moves?
Yeah, there's plenty.
Okay.
This game's actually going on at quite a pace. So after f5, he did take en passant, and she did take back with the bishop, and he played rook d1, rook hd1.
Okay.
Is this again? It's just lined up against her c5 break, right? That's because you know, for a beginner, it looks very strange just to stick your rook behind a queen behind a pawn. But this is just to counter c5, so he's got an attack against d5, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, just over protecting the pawn on d4. It's probably not that important at the moment, but it might be that he wants to play, for example, knight e5 and force the exchange, and then he'll have even more pressure on the d pawn.
Yep.
So I could foresee, for example, something like knight e6 happening, and then maybe knight e5 might be considered.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as everyone's pointed out, yourself and in the chat, yeah, getting a knight into e5 is going to be pretty useful. It's going to be a very powerful knight. And then, yeah, if he ever does get it swapped off, he just wants to be in the best place if the d pawn never does move, like you say, pressure through the middle. And black will have to come up with some sort of defense, or maybe not even be able to take the knight, which would be awkward. I guess, is there any option of her ever playing knight to f7 to challenge the knight that way?
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like an extremely sensible move.
That's if he puts it in there. Let's see how she reacts to this. So, I mean, what move would you play here?
The problem that black has here is that the c file is going to be a bit of a test. So, for example, if knight f7, queen c2, then you're going to have to play something now like rook c8, which isn't really what you want.
Is the knight coming into f5 here? Is that something? Or
I wondered about maybe queen c6.
Oh, just swap queens. See, this is something that, again, as a proper amateur player, I never know when to swap queens in sort of middle game areas. I'm always trying to keep it on to try and checkmate my opponent. So why could you just...
I just wanted to try and stop black from maybe even playing c6 and just probe away at that pawn on d5 a little bit.
So in ideal world, you're saying queen takes queen, rook takes queen, and then you've just got an easy attack against the c pawn when you play rook d to c1.
You've got that, plus you've got the pressure on the d5 pawn.
Yes,
so
because it's isolated.
Two things. Because they're so close together, it might be that black can deal with the problems with, say, playing rook d8 and then rook d7. But it's not ideal, I don't think.
No, I think, you know, as white seeing this on the board, I actually feel quite comfortable here. I feel like I've got a few options, whereas black's just having to defend.
It might not be anything too serious. For example, if the rook does get to d7 and black then can eject the rook with knight d8, kick it away, and put the knight on e6, then it might not be anything too much to worry about.
All right, well, let's see what Harriet came up with. So she played. Perhaps more active. Knight e6. Not worrying about defending the e5 square. And is she trying again? Is this just like, I want c5 and it's going to come at some point, or is it just the best square for the knight sitting centrally?
Well, it also defends the c7 pawn, so she doesn't have to play rook c8 if she doesn't want to.
So that frees the rook up to do what, Adam? Where would you rather have the rook if it?
Probably I'd rather have it on d8, where I can then maybe think about supporting c5 because the d pawn's a little bit better defended.
Yeah.
But my concern initially had been what we were going to do against knight e5, but that's probably... Alright. Does that happen, knight g4?
I think so. Hang on a second. Wait a minute. Having a Hoover on when you've got an open mic is probably not the best way forward. So Simon here, well, yes, and I think we're actually caught up now as well. I think we're on... Are we caught up? I think this is... Yeah, we're up to date now.
Good. Okay. Well, that's nice. It's nice to be up to date and not to be guessing at the moves now. So, both sides have played it fairly quickly, haven't they?
Yeah, they've got a lot of time.
Not been a slow game. Harriet's behind on the clock by the looks of things by about 20 minutes, which I don't know what the time control is here. Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think they started with an hour and 30 each.
Okay. So obviously he's wishing to put his knight on e5.
Yes. So obviously, yeah, as you say, it looks a bit loose there because obviously knight e6 anyway. The queen's attacking it, but it looks like, yeah. I mean, it'd be lovely if you can just, yeah. I mean, you can only move it once with the bishop, and then you're always going to have a knight on e5. So.
So that's actually a bit annoying.
Yeah, this is going to be tricky for black actually.
He could play.
Is it going to be a case of maybe she just have to accept the knight's going to be there and just try and play around it?
The problem is that with that c6 square, I don't like the fact that white's going to get control of that square for black's position, because if he could, for example, put his rook in on c6, then she's going to find it difficult to come up with an active plan, because then white could, for example, just double the rooks on the c file. You know, the one thing I suppose about white's position is he's got an isolated d pawn, so his structure is a little bit worse, I would say, which might be a help later on in the game if there's more exchanges. But at the same time, it looks like white's going to get the active knight, and there's not much that she can do about it.
So your biggest fear is that the control of the c6 square. Would that be to put a knight into c6 or the rook?
Let's try some sort of couple of moves. Let's say.
Yeah.
Let's say she plays something like, and I'm not suggesting it's a great move, but let's say something like rook a e8.
Rook a to d8.
Rook a to e8.
E8, sorry. Yep. Looks sensible. Nothing wrong with that. Putting a bit of pressure down an open file, and we stick a knight in, I guess.
Yeah, you could stick the knight in, or you could take on f6 and then stick the knight in. I'm not sure which one you want to do. Probably, I think white would actually probably like to have the option of. It may not matter. It may not matter. Let's say knight e5.
Yeah.
And let's say she takes it.
Okay, okay. And then he obviously takes back.
Yeah, and he takes back.
So queen e7 with the cheeky threat of taking on d4.
Yeah, I mean, actually, wherever she... So this was sort of a sort of semi-worry for me, was now, for example, queen d6 is met by rook c6.
Ah, okay.
But queen e7 looks like a very sensible move, although it might just lose a pawn. No. Does it lose a pawn?
On what move?
Queen e7.
Yeah, and then what would white play to win a pawn?
Knight c6.
Oh, the a pawn.
It might not be very important. I mean, you could always here go back to d7, and then if knight takes pawn, you could play rook to a8 or something. But black might have visions here of the king with something like queen f6.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, that f3 square looks nice.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think it'd be a bit greedy going for that pawn here. It just looks. I'll put it on the board. But
well, let's do it for amusement's sake. Let's take on a7.
Yeah, and then we've got a free reign with our queen, right? Where are we going to go?
For one move, we've got a free reign. So should we give the check?
Yeah, let's go in with that to start with. King somewhere.
King g1.
Knight somewhere. I want to bring the knight into h3 at some point. How do we do this?
Yeah, I mean, I was wondering about knight g5 immediately, actually.
And if queen takes, we take on f2, yeah.
And then you bring the rook to e2.
Oh, this is crushing, Adam.
Nasty, isn't it?
This is... How do you stop this?
That's nasty.
So yeah, Simon, take that pawn, mate. See what happens to you. I mean, that's the advantage of opening that F file, and why Dutch players like doing so, because stuff like this pop up quite quickly. Yeah, this is death.
It's only just death, by the way.
Only just. Well, let's play it through then. So what? We're gonna take the knight.
Yeah.
And then queen takes check. King h1. And then rook.
And the reason I said it was only just death is because he can take on d5 with check.
Okay.
But it doesn't matter.
No, because you can just move the king and it's still going to be mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. So potentially not. Oh, I hate it when it does this. Like you press one button, but it moves the whole screen, and then unfortunately, look, for me it doesn't matter because I'm just looking at my board. But I know that the stream, it'll go, oh no, that's offline now. I can't see Simon's beautiful face. I wonder where they got that picture where he's on his little emblem, where he's just basically bored. So what picture should we choose for Simon Williams? Well, I think we should choose the one where he looks the most bored. So I don't know if any of that got played. Probably not.
So maybe that's the sort of route that Harriet will go down. She'll centralise her pieces.
Yep, she actually did play rook A8.
Oh, okay.
And Simon did play knight G E5.
Ah.
Hang on,
So
this seems to be following our line completely. Oh no, yeah, it's gone all the way into, instead of queen E7, she went queen D6. So perhaps your rook C6 move may be coming.
Well, I imagine he's going to play F4.
F4. What, just to stop all that shenanigans that we were just looking at?
To stop the shenanigans. Well, actually, black's threatening knight takes D4 here.
Yeah, because that's the point, isn't it? So say white's not paying any attention here. Well, hang on a minute. So after rook C6?
Yeah, so she's then going to play queen E7, I guess.
Ah, okay. So back with this threat, guys. Where we
I'm not sure I love that.
Yeah, because you've sort of encouraged the rook to get to a square where it probably wants to be with a tempi. But then you still got to defend the pawn.
Yeah, now he'll play F4.
And F4 here. Yeah. And then yeah. White's getting that control down the C file. Is F5 ever going to be a threat? Is that possible at some point?
Do you mean G5?
No, I want to play F5. I always go for
as white.
I can't at the moment. But yeah, counter Freddy attack. But we'll see. I mean, let's face it. None of this.
I don't really like black's position here.
I think this did this happen, or was that just my analysis? That's the other thing about this website. I can't always tell whether it's the actual moves in the game or it's what we were just looking at. Because you're a good player, Adam, and they do copy some of your moves, which is
occasionally.
It must make you feel good. So let's have a look. Oh, this did happen. Yep. So this is on the board. So what does black do?
Well, I wondered if she should play knight D8 to kick the rook out.
Well, let's put it on the board. Let's have a look. So we need a good square. I don't know, another half hour. So yeah, we've got to put that rook somewhere useful. But I guess the downside of having your knight on D8 is you're no longer defending the C pawn anymore.
No, so I would imagine something like rook C3 probably.
Then it's got options of swinging over to F3 maybe and get my F5 pushing. But mainly for the double up.
The main reason I wanted to go knight D8 was to play knight F7 now and try and eject the knight like that.
Okay. So
but I dislike it because there's going to be pressure down the C file.
Yeah, I mean it's quite an easy plan for white, isn't it? I mean
probably just queen C2 now.
Oh, queen C2 instead. Leave the rook on D1.
Or your move rook C1. Yeah, both of them look promising. By the way, I mean there's still this knight C6. Oh no, knight C6 is not so good now. But yeah, queen C2. Why not? And just build some pressure.
We can't play C. Can we play C5?
Yeah, she might be able to play C5 now. Actually.
Yeah, because the pressure's against the knight, isn't it? If we ever take D takes C, then obviously knight takes E5, gets the pawn back.
Though now now white could maybe take on F7.
F7 first. Yep.
It does allow the E file to be open, so it does give.
Yeah, there's some big access points now, isn't there, for black?
Yeah, it does give a check or two, for example. But let's say rook takes F7.
No check first, no in between, just straight.
Well, it's swapping the queens off though, isn't it? And
Exactly.
you might not get a chance. You can't go queen e4, and I don't think you can go queen e2 because I'll take it, and go king f3, and you'll be a piece down. So you probably got to take the knight.
Yeah, and then I think the rook's doing a good enough job on maybe take with the queen, and then you're defending the d pawn at least. So there's no d takes c because you're defending d5 with the queen now. And then you'd argue that white's king's probably a little bit less safe, I guess.
Yeah, but you might just be a pawn down. So now dc5, bc5, rook c5.
Can we throw in anything here? Can we play rook e4 instead? Because it's all too slow.
Looks quite slow to me.
Fair enough. So if we do c takes back. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And I guess you'd say it's a pawn, but is white's king that unsafe for it?
Yeah, probably not that unsafe.
Okay. Are you going out? Sorry, Adam.
Am I going out?
No, not you. My wife. It's all dressed up, ready to go.
No, thanks. I'm gonna put Liverpool versus Bournemouth on the TV at the same time.
Wow, that's multitasking. We should win that one, guys. Adam's a Liverpool fan like I am, and we're currently doing pretty well in the league. Probably our best start ever, I think, is the official word.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our bad luck is that Man City is also having the best start ever. But yeah, we could go top of the table basically, which would be a little bit of psychological pressure on Man City.
Anyway, let's see what happens. It's the sort of game Liverpool in the past maybe would struggle with a team like Bournemouth.
Well, Bournemouth a couple of seasons ago would be really, really tricky. I don't think they're quite as good this year.
No. Anyway, let's try and focus on chess. I've got to go out 15 minutes.
All right, no problem.
I think White is starting to get control of the position. I didn't really understand why she didn't go Queen E7 straight away.
It was like she encouraged the rook to get to c6, like she wanted it there. Like you say, maybe it's to do with the idea of maybe she's going to play knight d8 here. She does play knight d8.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't really see what else she was going to do. But now the rook comes back. Maybe even it can. Did rook c3 happen?
Yeah, this is live.
Wow, we're not doing too badly today.
No, we seem to be roughly following what's going on. If not the move orders, and at least the ideas. So we have to deal with c7 now. It's just going to be taken off the board. So is c5 going to happen? From what we just saw, if she does play c5, it does sort of fall apart a bit. So are we going to play? How do we defend? Do we play rook c8?
Well, now it might be here, for example, c5.
Yep.
And if knight takes f7,
yep.
Rook takes f7.
Ah.
And then if you take on c5, I might check you on e2, but that's going to allow a passed pawn. I wanted first initially to take back on c5.
Yep, we can do that.
But that will allow d5 to fall.
Oof. Yeah, this is...
Which is not what you want. If she can make it so that she could check on e2, get the queens off, and he would take on c5 and she would take on b2, for example, that would probably be absolutely fine for black, but I can't quite see how she's going to manage it.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, here he's just going to go king h1.
And say, what have you got? I'm going to win another pawn, right?
Yeah. So if you just go back a couple of moves to where I took on c5 with my b pawn for black.
Yeah.
And I guess the question is whether or not she can get away with checking first.
Check here first. So queen has to take, right?
Queen has to take.
Rook takes.
Rook takes.
King somewhere attacking the rook.
King f3, let's say.
Yeah. Rook takes b pawn.
Rook takes the b pawn, and then probably c6.
This is a big passed pawn, isn't it?
It's a big passed pawn, and she's got an active king. And she's going to have to go rook c7.
Yeah, the king's going to come in. King's just going to walk over, no? On the dark squares. Let's just try it.
Well, maybe it's possible she could block it with a rook. Let's say king f7. It's not so clear.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe I thought I was gaining time on that pawn on the when I got my king to d4. But this is the kind of situation where I lose even drawn endings.
That black rook is actually doing a very good job on b2, kind of attacking a lot of pawns. So now king e6, I think, is probably.
You might be better.
I might be better. Yeah, I might be better. Just go back a couple of moves to that position before the king started walking.
Yeah,
for
sorry.
white.
I was going for a jogging exercise with the king. So c6 is right? And then we have to block the pawn.
e6 felt right for sure. And then I was just wondered if white could go after the d pawn instead after rook c7.
Oh, I was kind of going for the d pawn, but with the wrong piece, obviously.
Maybe let's say rook d1 or rook d3. It probably doesn't matter.
Do we want to swap off that rook on b2? Do we want to play rook c2?
Well, but then if you do, then my king gets to e6 very fast and d6 very fast.
Okay. So straight attack the pawn. Okay.
Straight attack on the pawn, and she's probably going to have to defend it with rook b5.
Rook b5.
And that's...
And then... I want to play a4, but then that's just a kind of middle gamey thing. The rook can just move.
And I've got a feeling black is okay here.
Are you threatening? Well, not threatening, but is rook c5 a move for black here at some point? No, because you don't want to lose the d pawn.
Well, it's possibly a move. No, it's for example, I was wondering if a4 could be played to disrupt the rook, but I can of course just go rook a5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Originally, I was like this, but then even just rook c5 here. No, you just swap
even rook c5, swap the rooks, push the c pawn, tie the white rook down to getting behind it, or in front of it, I should say, and then maybe just exchanging the a pawn for the c pawn, if that makes sense.
Yeah, something like this. I mean, I guess king e3 here.
Yeah, maybe king e3 is a good move. I'm not sure this is necessary, by the way, for black. I wondered if maybe just rook a5 is a better way of doing it, because the king will come quite quickly over to e6. Instead of rook c5 and exchanging that rook off.
Oh right, yeah.
Just go rook a5
and just attack the a pawn as well. Would we play rook d4 here?
Maybe. But then what are you doing if I could just go king f7, king e6, king d6?
Who knows? Maybe it's just level.
I don't think this is what white wants. So,
well, we have gone quite a tangent. This is
sort of. It's quite a forcing variation. C5
after rook c1. You mean?
Yeah. I mean, what else is she? We've got 3 more live moves by the looks of things. So
yeah, let's have a look. Let's get back to rook c1, and then black went for c5. Yeah, and he took the knight. He took back the rook. So yeah, perhaps we are walking exactly to where we were just about to be.
We're good, aren't we? We are good.
Check this back. I mean, she's even gone for the queen e2 swaps everything, and now where does Simon put his king? Why does this feel... See, I'm always suspicious about this, because I think it's actually just gone on my sideline, because it'd be too obvious. Let me... I don't think that happened.
Ah.
Sorry, no. It was actually bishop takes e5. So well, what the hell? All that stuff was all fantasy then.
Oh.
Oh man. Well, this is the problem when you've got lots of variations open, because I don't have to delete the trees afterwards. So she actually took, and she played Queen A4. Okay, so she's gone for the A pawn. Well, that is a slightly different position, so apologies for that, guys. But thanks for those that were seeing that live and not correcting me.
Yeah, it was an interesting looking game as well.
It was an interesting looking game.
Queen A4.
Yes.
Okay, so the idea is she's going to take on, if let's say B3.
B3. Yep, defending the pawn, attacking the queen.
Going to take on D4, I guess.
Chomp. Yes, because the tactics work at the end because the rook takes knight, right?
Yeah, but it's not clear because then the white rook's going to get to C7.
Let's have a look. And then rook takes C7. But we've got rook E2 here. Rook E2. We're attacking the F pawn.
Ah, rook E2, yeah. That's a good move. That's a good move.
Now we're hoovering up to level again.
Oof. And then maybe rook takes D5 and it's equal.
Yeah, I mean, things are getting hoovered off, aren't they? It's going to be level pawns at least at the end of this. And then, you know, as any rook player wants. Yeah, because you want your rooks on the 7th rank, don't you? And it's a lot easier for black to do that. But then I'll say that, after rook takes D5, you're getting rook D7 as well, so I don't know.
Yeah, but you're going to lose...
Well, let's play it. Let's have a quick look. We like our rook endings, it seems. So we'll do rook F takes F.
Yeah, rook F takes F.
And then king, what, H3, I guess? Or G1?
I would have thought G1.
Yep, and then we'll take the H pawn. Oh no,
then
it's mate. Yeah, I just realised that was mate. So you got a draw here then with.
Yeah, you probably got a draw, but you might play, I don't know, H6 or something and carry on. But certainly black is obviously fine, but whether or not it's any more fine is not completely clear. She could, for example, take on A2
in the position I've got on the board now.
Before H6.
Before H6. So take on A2, yeah?
Oh, A2.
Yeah, and then I'll still play rook D7.
D7.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, I don't know, say... No, this is probably just a draw.
It's just hard to stop any sort of perpetuals, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird position because black wants to play something like rook B2 and threaten mate, but she can't because she gets mated.
That's the power of the 7th rank rooks.
It's the power of the 7th rank, yeah, indeed. So let's go all the way back.
Yeah, this another side rook ending. That's if Simon played B3, right? So let's see if he plays something else. And I'll make sure I'm actually going down the game route this time, rather than just these weird tangents. No, that's my sideline. Stop it. No, he did play B3. Okay. No, he didn't. We're at Queen A4, and no, there's been no moves. Yeah.
Okay, a good place probably to stop for me anyway. The only thought I had was after B3, Queen takes D4, whether he could just move his queen away somewhere and try and be clever on the black queen. But
where's the square though?
I can't see how, because queen can always come to E4 with check.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to defend that knight, haven't you? So
yeah, you'd have to play something like Queen E2 and then Queen E4 check is annoying.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do here? This that F3 square is just so weak. It's that's a big plus in black's position. The rook after just castling, and it's just, this is why I love the Dutch. You just get the F file is just, it's so tantalising for black.
So the question is, can he do something other than B3? I would guess.
Could he let the A pawn go? Is the A pawn really that
maybe
important?
he can, and that's sort of would absolutely be what Simon will be thinking about as his first thought. being the type of player he is.
Yeah, he'll say, "Do I care about Harry?" And he doesn't. He doesn't care about any of his pawns, to be fair.
So he could play, but I guess black is really thinking about taking on d4, maybe even more than taking on a2.
Yeah. So how are we going to go
And
about?
it might just be that Simon's underestimated this queen a4 move.
But has he? I mean, after say something like knight c6, defending the d pawn. If he takes the a pawn, are we not just playing rook a1?
So what do you want to do? Knight c6.
Or maybe this is rubbish as well. I don't know. Yeah, after knight c6, if he takes the a pawn.
But that's probably a good trade for black to have made, even if just queen b3. I know, of course, you could maybe even go queen c4, but let's say queen b3 and rook takes a7. You know, the knight on e6 holds everything up. So again, f3 is a weak square, right?
Yep, very true. I'm wondering if maybe rook a1 was a little bit premature. I wonder if there's something here. Well, like you say, you've deflected the queen, so now's your time for white to do something if you're going to do something. Is there anything here?
I can't see it. The knight on e6 is a really good piece.
Covering a lot of squares, isn't it? For your
perhaps not knight c6, perhaps f4.
Well, the reason I've stopped in this position is because I've noticed the computer's gone mental and it's gone +3 for white here.
Oh, I see.
And I'm just trying to work out how.
Oh right, okay. So I blundered something then.
It's obviously not. I thought the blunder was just because there was rook a1 and you just win all the pawns a7, c7, etc. But no, there must be something else. So I'm looking at knight e7 check. That does nothing.
Maybe it's something like.
Oh, is it knight b4?
Queen b3.
And then I don't have anything. But that queen is running out of squares. Have we got rook c3 there?
But then maybe the queen can just drop back along the a
And then we take the d pawn?
Oh, I see what you mean. After knight b4?
Yeah.
But no, then I can take on b4.
Yes. I've interfered with my own defence. But what's +3 here? I mean, talk about here's your tactical moment. This is where we flounder around and find nothing. How is this +3 for white?
I was thinking about something like queen to b4 to try and restrict the squares even more.
Yeah, trying to trap that queen, right?
Or something like queen to c3. I wanted queen b4, a5. I couldn't see quite what you were up to, but maybe then queen b5 is.
This is fun.
Kind of some. This is all right, is it?
Yeah. So what is it? I don't want to just keep playing every single move, but maybe rook c3, trying to play rook. No, because that doesn't trap the queen either. It's only 3 points. It's not a whole queen. Got to remember that. So somehow we're dropping a piece here.
Well, I'm going to leave it to you to find.
Thanks, Adam. I mean, the worst it's going to do is I'm actually going to look at what the computer's saying here. But thanks for your time, mate. That was awesome, and off the cuff. So thanks for just popping in for us.
Yeah, no worries at all. If I get back at a reasonable time, which I probably will do, then I'll hook back up with you. Yeah,
that'd be great. Yeah, I mean, maybe this game will still be going. But I think it's 2 games today anyway.
It is, yeah. There's another game at 4, is it? It's got. It could be a really late finish for them because they have to have the tie breaks after that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
It could theoretically go on, I think, till 10 or 11 o'clock tonight.
Then
they've got to do it all again tomorrow, or one of them has to do it all
again.
Yeah,
that's the advantage of being pre-seeded into the next round, I guess. They're going to get a tired opponent.
Okay.
All right, Adam. Thanks so much, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye.
See ya. Right, guys. So I'm going to hand it over to the chat. So what's the killer move for white here? I can indeed look it up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to let you guys tell me. How is white winning in this position? I just don't see it. Unless it's a classic chess 24. Oh yeah, it's +3, but if I look at it for about 10 minutes, it's actually fine. Which is something that happens with chess 24 sometimes. I think if you're a subscriber, the computer's a bit stronger. And as I say that, the bars drop right down to like 0.5 for white. So it's still good for white, but it's not +3. So there must be some sneaky way out of this. Anyway, I'm going to go back to current position because I want to see what the heck's going on. In fact, I may actually just adjust the stream a little bit, seeing as we've lost our IM. Resident IM's gone off to watch Liverpool, which is a damn good thing to be doing on a Saturday afternoon. So let's take him out. Sorry, Adam. He'll be back later, hopefully. I'll centralise my face. Let's get me in the middle. There we go. Right. So what the heck is going on in this chess game? So this all happened. Oh, you played b4 instead. Okay. So obviously b4, as what we were talking about with Adam, he's now blocking the attack on the d pawn. So what is Harriet? Whoops. She's definitely not going to take that pawn. No, stop it. Chess 24, why? So this should be the main line, so stop doing that. Oh, okay, fine. Technical issues on this. Let's have a quick look. That is a sideline, surely. Yeah, this is the position. Sorry, I'll get there in a second. And then we can have a rethink. Okay, so b4. What the heck is going on? So that also defends the a pawn because the queen's now defending a2. And to be honest, the queen doesn't actually have a lot of good squares now because the knight on e5's attacking both d7, c6. So the queen can come back to maybe b5 if needed. Maybe even into a3 at some point. The good news about the knight being on e5 was this f3 square that I've been banging on about. If black ever gets some sort of attack into f3, then white's in some trouble. So it's a tough one. This is where it's useful having Adam, because when it comes to playing the black pieces here, I'm not sure what an active defense would be. So I'll be worrying about this c pawn. So what we're going to do about this c pawn? I guess the knight's always defending that c pawn. So an active move for black. I might even just switch it to black, to be honest. It always helps me when I play from the side that's actually making the move. Flip board. There we go. So, hey Amadan, thanks for tuning in, dude. Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. That's why I've switched to black to start looking at trying to stay active, because she's done a good job of that so far. You know, all the pieces are pretty well placed. This is one of those situations. The only bad piece is actually the queen. So I wonder if she's going to try and bring that queen back into the position. Maybe even a5. I don't know. a5 is a move. What does Simon do on a5? Let's have a quick look at this. With the thinking that if takes, can I take the d pawn? Can I take this? Probably can. Can I? What am I missing here? What's going on? Queen takes. Rook takes. Rook takes. Am I in trouble over here? Because the problem is, like we were looking at earlier, is there's always going to be some sort of rook here. Rook to e2, and then the f pawn's in big trouble because it's pinned. And I guess you've got rook f1 maybe, but then I'm winning the a pawn. Oh, I tell you, rook endings are just the devil for me, and that's why I lose all of them. So a5, and then Amadan's suggesting a3. Oh, it's just hanging. Yeah, good point, well made. Yeah, we just chomped that one off the board. Yep, no problem. I think you just take, to be honest. I mean, a5, because you want to give your queen some squares, so it's quite likely to be the move. And it's just a question of, after takes, what happens in the centre of the board. Yeah, so basically it's two long play games, and obviously if you win that 1.5 half, you go through, and you get Mickey Adams in this case. If it's a draw, then it goes down to rapid play games, and if that's a draw, it goes down to blitz. So a bit like the Knockout World Championship format. So it's big if you're white in the first game. I was saying this at the beginning of the stream. The pressure on Simon's a bit higher because you kind of have to win. Actually, saying that, he's actually probably more aggressive as black. So the second game may be the more interesting, and a big part of this is he has to play it almost straight after this one. I think the next round's about 4 o'clock, and this game's probably got a good hour in it yet. So I'm not sure. We're still waiting on Harriet. Harriet's taken a big think here, which is she's 20 minutes behind on the clock, so not sure what she's thinking about, to be honest. Because if we're not going to activate the queen, are we going to try and activate the rooks instead? Can we start playing rook somewhere? Rook f6 and maybe something like this? I'll probably walk into forks. I'm just looking. And maybe go with this plan and try and be active. Well, that definitely walks in. No, the queen's covering the square. So yeah. So maybe a plan of doubling up the rooks on the f file. That's a possible move as well. So a5 or rook f6. Maybe even rook f5. I don't know about rook f5. Is rook f5 any good? Because then we've got options of extra takes on the knight as well. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Adams is just... and the way he takes apart 2500 GMs is well, it's amazing, basically. He gives them no chances, and he just creates passed pawns, and he's a strangler, to say the least. But you never know. Simon's got a big punch, so... it's just Mickey won't give him a target. That's the downside. I mean, it's almost... and I also think Simon thought he was straight into the last 8. Because when he was posting on Twitter, he mentioned about the prize money. And the prize money is actually only for when he gets into the next round. So I don't know if they sprung this on him or he just didn't know. So after b5... No, she doesn't take the pawn. It's obsessed with that one move, which I made an error. I'm just looking down the board now. There doesn't seem to be any other moves yet. So we're still waiting on Harriet to move. The other matchups are actually still very interesting. I mean, we could have a quick look at some of the other games. I mean, the computer's saying they're all pretty well balanced. Let's have a look at the other lady player in Jovanka Huska. I'll go back to speaking of this. Right, give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to shoot off to the toilet. I'll be back in 2, probably less. Right, so okay, so Kara Khan for Jovanka. She's actually written a book on this, a very good book, which I've read and forgotten, which is amazing, and I don't play the Kara Khan. So we're going to get the main line where this is like a sideline Nigel Short-y kind of 2 knights, attack, defense, whatever you want to call it. 2 books, sorry. I sit corrected. So knight takes knight. No? Okay, so just so you know, guys, there's a little trap here. If you play something like knight d7, then there's a bit of a rude awakening. Hang on, is that right? Yeah. Oops. This kind of thing happens often in Blitz. Did I get that wrong? That's right? Stupid chess 24. What's the defense here then? You can't take the knight. I'm just going to ignore the computer from chess 24 today because it's got me wrong twice now. Anyway, that's the point of queen e2, is that you're trying to mate in a sneaky mate if black's not paying attention. I don't do recommendations per se, unless it's Ginger GM stuff, in which case, of course, buy all his stuff because it's awesome. I just bought his Leningrad Dutch DVD, so we're going to see even more F5 Percy. It's not so much that, it's just when you read books from a long time ago, when you actually thought that you might actually try to be good at chess, and then you come back and you realise you're actually a patzer. Caro-Khan's a good opening, it's just not my style. I prefer Sicilian. I like counter-attacking. Caro-Khan's more you sit behind a solid pawn structure and wait for white to break himself and then win. See, so we're just trying to, Jovanka's just trying to swap queens basically, and then say, well, what's wrong with my position? Ah, Mr. Dodgy Chess. No, Percy wouldn't leave forever. He'd always be back. Problem is, he says he doesn't like F5, but he keeps watching Simon Williams and he keeps watching me, so I think deep down he knows F5 is the best move in the game. Keeps swapping queens. Oh, yeah, they're finally coming off. Okay. I guess it's a tough one. I mean, you're black against Jonathan Hawkins, who's you know, a top quality GM. I mean, most GMs are. Let's face it. And she's saying, right, without the queens on the board, you know, level pawn structure, no weaknesses, I should say. Perhaps I can get a draw and then beat you with white. Perhaps that's her thinking behind this. This is probably all book, and it's whether Jovanka can hold on to the bishop pair, which I don't think she can here. And then F3. Now what? Okay. Well, she invoked F3. And now we've got an attack down the H file. Okay, so there's some play down the H file. Taking the space. So if C takes, is she going to take the... Sorry, is Jonathan going to take the knight on A6 after the swaps? Yep, okay. And what are we going to argue here? We're going to argue that black has doubled A pawns and that they're weak because of that reason. How quickly can we get a rook into C6? Is that even possible? That's what he's going to probably go for, right? So we're at current position now. And I'm guessing we're looking at rook C6 and follow up by rook H to F1. One day I'm going to walk past your board, Percy, and I'm going to see you played F5 or F4, and I'll say C. I'm just going to say C. I'm not even going to say that, I'm just going to look at you and nod. I'm going to go, yeah, like that, and you'll know what I mean. So yeah, I mean, I guess white's still got a chance to do something just because of the control of the C file, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's the downside. It's quite nice when GMs play illuminating moves. So rook D1 instead of rook C6 suggests that the pawn on D5 needs to be looked after. I mean, it's a passed pawn. There's no denying it. I don't know if he's going to try and sneak in the bishop at any point. Maybe it's just dead level. Could be. And Jonathan's just going to try and outplay her in the ending. So that's in an ending too. So the Simon game is still middle game, which is what's making that interesting. And I see that my PC is slightly off kilter again. So let's have a look at John Nunn. Legend, English legend of the white pieces. Oh, this looks exciting. From first glance. If you've got a Harry on H5, that's definitely an attack of some sort. Oh, and then I've just realised there's no king on G8. I mean, it's probably still good, but if there was king on G8, I think black would be in some sort of trouble. But seeing as it's sitting on c8, probably not so bad. Let's see how this happened. French. Well, there you go. Still played at top level. Does happen. Oh, bishop b4. Come on. Yay! Winner. Again, an opening that I used to play. Which is a lot of fun for black. It depends if we get the queen g4 line, which we will see shortly. Here we go. I think we're going to see it. No, I don't know what queen a5 is. That one's me out of book instantly. Obviously, it's threatening to take the c pawn, which is, you know, with check. Yeah, with checkmating queens is just, yeah, I mean, it happens, right? Lots of pieces get checkmated. It's just a way of trapping a piece, right? But it's a nice word. I quite like it. I've checkmated your knight. I've checkmated your bishop. There's nowhere to go. It's going to die. It's going to die. So how's he going to just... I'm guessing just bishop d2. Yeah. And now what does black do with the queen? It sits on a4. Well, that does threaten to win the d pawn with c takes, d takes, queen takes. So I guess once again we're going to react. Ah, so queen g4 played. Good. So it explains why Harry got involved so much. So it's a double move. He's defending d4 and he's attacking g7. That's defending the pawn. Let's see where we go with this. I might just whiz through these because, to be honest, I'm definitely no opening theoretician / middle game player / end game player. So it's going to get to an interesting part and then stop. But this is probably all interesting to people that play the French, including Percy, who is a French player. H6. Yeah, I mean, stuff like what's happening here is quite amusing in one way. I mean, H6 is just, because I like playing against the French, it's just stopping ideas of knight dropping in, but the whole time black's looking to castle queenside, because usually in these sort of French positions, and which is why there's a pawn on c4, there's usually an exchange on c5 to d4, and then it's suicide to castle queenside as black. But in this position where it's closed, it's not so bad, though I'm pretty sure that GM Nunn will find a way to get through. A little bit of prep work. I don't know if he's just playing his rook here to bring it to b2 and bring the other rook to b1, just attack down the b file. But yeah, I was just about to say this. If the knight moves out the way, then you've always got bishop c6, which is quite it's a negative bishop, but it does hold b7 quite nicely. So yeah, black's just defending the f pawn so he can castle. Yeah. And then the knights come in. Queen's coming back round. Where's the queen going though? That's interesting. Okay, so maybe black's going to get some sort of counter attack here. Look away now, Percy, because either f6 or f5's coming. Yep, so that stops any of that. Knight says, that's my square. Yeah, I'm not really disliking black anymore, which I want to do because it's the French. But if there's no g4 in this position, maybe there is. Not yet though. Okay. See, there's that bishop c6, which is really annoying. I mean, in games I've lost, which there are many, this pawn can be moved, and often when you sacrifice it again, the bishop's actually an absolute devil. I mean, if you get 5 and open up any lines in front of the white king, and at the same time it's defending the queenside quite nicely. So this is actually quite a tense game. So that was white trying to open the position. That's interesting. I wonder if there was any mileage in taking this one. I wonder if this is just bad. I wonder if it's just bad. I guess after bishop takes, it's probably not that great for black. Yeah, I mean, you're never getting this pawn up the board. You're never playing e5. So no, this is just bad for black. Hey Abov, I'm good mate. How are you doing? So, instead of that, no, this did happen. this actually happened. Yep. And swapping queens. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Would you swap queens here? I'd be tempted, but only because I'm playing John Dunn. I'm just trying to think if it's worse for me to... I don't know how weak the f6 pawn is. I don't know if there's any chance I can ever round it up. Because obviously if I swap queens here, the f pawn's totally defended. But I would possibly be able to play d4 at some point. I'd have to somehow protect c4 though. It's not so easy. Yeah, I mean, he obviously plays the French, but you don't know for sure. I mean, this is the problem with these players at this level. I mean, some will always play the same stuff over and over, and others will just say, well, I think John Dunn's not particularly good against the French. I don't know why you'd think that. Maybe the end of this game will show it. And so play the French just against him. So no swapping, fair enough. So what I was looking at there briefly, but I think the c-pawn's really weak. Or something like this. Queen takes, pawn takes, and then maybe this. But I just don't think I have time because this one just drops. Yeah, no, this is just rubbish. And there's no easy way to, if you had two moves and you could put your bishop there, then you're probably doing really well. But you don't. That's not chess. You only get the one move before your opponent retaliates. So that's why he probably didn't swap. And I guess he is possibly after this pawn as well. Because from e8, it's actually attacking. And then you could play, I mean, I don't know if you ever would or could, but you could possibly play queen d8 and then you're sweeping up that pawn. I mean, personally, I'll just get mated. But it's an option in the position. I don't know if that's what he's going for, but it's possible. We're at current position. So yeah, I don't know what's what, but I'd rather be white just because I've got two rooks barreling down against a king. F3, eh? I was looking at a6, but a6 I guess you just play b6, so there'd be no problem there. Might even be able to play b5. Now b6 would have probably been alright. So f3. f3 is interesting. So why are we playing f3? Maybe it's simply I was on the wrong realm completely. Knight back to d6, nothing to do with going to e8 and winning the f pawn. He's actually maybe just wanting to play his knight into this square. And trying to win the bishop pair, perhaps. So f3 just stops that. So it takes away that move. And then I guess maybe Alan's now thinking he can just unclick that. Yeah, maybe now he'll start thinking about potentially rook e8 and just trying to round up that point. I mean, he's definitely thinking about this one because it is weak. It's just how do you get to it? And like I was saying, my idea of knight e8 and queen d8, you're sort of leaving your king in the open. I don't know. Maybe it's just good. I don't know. Could play a couple of moves and find out, eh? I don't know. I really don't. How are you going to stop me playing queen d8? And what happens if I just get it? Is it all fine? Can we do stuff like this? And if I try this, try to win that pawn so bad. Give me that pawn. What is something to worry about here? Brinkmanship, I like that. It could sum up the whole French in that terminology. I don't know. I mean, am I winning that pawn? It looks like I am. I just don't know. Luckily, I don't have to work out Alan's defence. I don't know what's happening after maybe something like, is this any good? Is this just good? I mean, my original defence was just b6 here, but what? And now how do we stop losing the f-pawn? Maybe just losing the f-pawn is not the end of the world either. But I don't know, maybe black's doing absolutely fine there. Let's go to live position. So we can leave that one now. Go back to Simon briefly, see if anything's moved. Do we have any moves from here? It's gone with Harriet's gone with a5. So it's either going to be a5 or rook f6, I think. And I think Simon can take this pawn, and he does. And she took back. B takes a. Interesting. And then knight c6. So the knight's got into c6, attacking a5 as well. And now rook f6. Okay, so I've got the right plans, but as usual, not in the right order. Now that you can't really play. Well, I guess you can. You've got to watch out playing rook ef8 just because there's a check on e7, but it's probably nothing anyway. So what does Simon do? Simon's having a think now. Whoa, Harriet took a long time to make these decisions, and now she's only got 15 minutes left, and that is time trouble, even for these sort of players. Well, they would have looked quite far in advance. I think they get 30 seconds per move as well. Well, 51 minutes versus 15 minutes. Oh, they've got a picture for Harriet as well. She didn't have a picture at the beginning, but there's a picture down here. There she is. So yeah, it's going to be a tough one. So let's go back to being white again. Will be Simon and try and come up with his ideas. What to play? Because obviously the f pawn is something that black's trying to attack. Potentially also saying that our knight on c6 isn't really doing anything other than defending the d pawn. We're also babysitting the a2 pawn, the queen. But, I mean, she has, in theory, sacked a pawn, right? I mean, we can just take this a5 pawn. I don't know what the follow-up would be. After, say... Well, let's just do the obvious moves. Let's do queen takes, knight takes. What does black do here? Are we not just a pawn up? It's not easy for black here because of the knight has to babysit the c pawn. This is such a nice rook, so you kind of want to play something like this just because maybe we'll get the a pawn. We don't have rook c5, so where's good for our knight here? Do we have to give back the a pawn? Because the problem with giving back the a pawn is we've got the same trouble on f2 again. So if the knight moves and Harriet takes on a2, the rook on f6 and the rook on a2 does cause some problems. What to do? I keep trying to blunt them pieces. I'm trying to play rook c6, but you should just take the knight. So thank you very much. I'm also looking at trying to get the knight back into c5, but again, I've got trouble with this f pawn. Yeah, maybe this is just no good for white. Maybe you're just not doing what you need to do. It may as well be a new chess Pat's a dance move, Blaze. Yeah, I am proper unsure of how to keep my pawn, because giving it back just seems so good for black. Maybe no, it doesn't work. Yes, maybe we've got something here. So knight here, if rook takes, then we've got a check and we win the d pawn, but I don't know how good this is. Probably rubbish. Probably got too much trouble. Yeah, this is just rubbish. I can't allow the f pawn to go. I was looking at winning the d pawn, so what could I play here? Well, I guess I have to... Do I have to defend the f pawn? Is there any other way to defend the f pawn other than rook f1? And it just looks level again. It's alright, Percy. There's no dance moves here. There's no Vodka Red Bull in my system. If there was, then perhaps the dance moves would be taken over. But for now, you're safe. You're safe for now. So maybe not this. So it doesn't actually win a pawn, taking the A pawn. Which is a shame, because it did look like a tasty pawn. So that is not happening. What is happening here? So she tried, what was it? Rook F6, wasn't it? And Simon's still thinking. So we should still think. Come on, guys. We want to win the A pawn, but we don't want to lose our own A pawn. So how are we going to do that without playing Rook A1, which is just naff? I don't want to play Rook A1. Plus, I'll be worried about Rook EF8 as well. There's no denying. Well, maybe to solve all these problems, maybe F4. Maybe F4 is the way here. I'm not sure what's happening after F4. Because we're still threatening to take the A pawn, you see, and we've got rid of all the threats on F2. So maybe we can play this. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just getting mated. I don't know. Have we got knight takes? Knight takes D4 here? Because I'm worried about these checks at the bottom. There's going to be a Rook E2 check at some point. It just seems pants. I don't need to open up my king without not on purpose. See, there you go, Percy. I've rejected F4. So it does happen. I mean, we're going to scoop up A5. We are going to scoop up A5 because it's not easy to defend unless you play something negative like Rook A8. So D5 is weak too. I wonder if we can ever get to D5. Keep wanting to play naff moves. This is a problem. This is where chess is really difficult. I want to play maybe Rook C2 here and just defend that way. But it just seems negative. It's not Simon's style. Simon will find an active move here, and I want to find it too. I want to be Simon Williams when he wins, not when he loses. I'll do a whole video on a secret handshake. Don't worry. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. I don't know. And to be fair, I'm really hungry too, so I think I'm going to take a break. I'm probably going to miss the end of this game, but I'll be back for the second game, which is on later on this afternoon, probably about 4:30. So probably going to call it here. Thanks for those who've tuned in. I hope you've enjoyed it up to the point. Probably enjoyed it up until Adam left, but I'll be back pattering away, and I think Adam might rejoin as well, so that should be good. But for now, enjoy your lunches and the rest of your Saturday afternoon, and hopefully I'll catch you later on today. So bye for now. Oh, Adam was watching. Yeah, I find it very hard to break your sister currently, Adam. It's just not happening. I'm not finding the right ideas. But yes, hopefully later on. So bye for now, guys.